This is a game after all, so we should try to make this look a little bit more interesting. So, okay, let's just replace this. These are all from Kenny assets, okay? They are free to use, so you can just use them. And yeah, I've just replaced the capsule with a stove, which means we could just now go and, yeah, we don't have an animation though, but we could just have him go there, look through the stove, and so on and so on. So let's open up our scripts. And yeah, so here's the thing. One more thing that we should do is, let's say that on your wait for timer to finish, we're going to open the slider once you're actually here. If you're not in here, then we're simply going to disable it, just so that we know, because assign random grid position, if you cannot reach that grid position, then you are stuck there. You basically have nothing else to do. That's why we thought that it wasn't working, but it was working. We just didn't have a random position, so the request wasn't really working there. And of course, because we removed the callback for that. Okay, so however, no, we should have a different callback to tell us that you cannot actually go there, or what happens if the path fails. We'll do this as we go along, no need for now. So let's see. On the wait timer for finish, then we have our grid object. Okay, so let's make the grid object. Yeah, this is going to be annoying, so I'm just going to turn that to you, and I'm going to say transform.rotation. We can just tell it to look from view.interaction hook in the interaction hook dot position, or .transfer.position, better yet, minus u.transfer.position, and you have a direction to this. We just want this to be now normalized. Okay. Now technically the correct way to do this will be vector3 the direction to have this over here. Okay, just so that you eliminate the y. And we can also do some lerping. Okay, then we can say transform.rotation quaternion u transform.rotation target rotation by delta, let's do by 2, or let's subdivide by 3 for f. Okay, so that's how it's going to rotate as well, and look towards the interaction hook. On the grid object, yeah, we just need to set this in our I'm just going to close the slider now as a game object. We don't need it. Perfect. Save that, minimize, and let's click play. Let's see what we're doing. So everything should be working fine. And yeah, we can probably move him closer. Okay, and it creates the interaction. It finishes. It can go to any other node, but let's see how we can play this out. So we kind of need to create a stack. Yeah, so I named the interaction stack. The previous one I named interaction stack, but I think we just should number them. And okay, let me think. Okay, so now everything actually works fine so far, but what we should do is create more general idea of interactions, how they're going to be doing, how are they going to be happening. So let's call that actions, where we're going to be stacking some form of interactions, but okay, so let's think this through. Let's create a new folder. So here's what I'm thinking, actually. I'm going to call this kitchen. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to replace the kitchen stove with a fridge, which I hope I'll find in here, but I'm guessing it's going to be here as well. Let's say kitchen fridge. Okay, let's drop that here, and we're going to name this fridge, and we should scale this up by 2 on all directions. Okay, then minus 0.5, minus 0.5, and I think this will be minus 0.85, just like the kitchen. And of course, because this is fridge, it can just go down here. We don't really care for the pivots anymore that much. So okay, kitchen, fridge. We want to make food. You go first to the fridge, you go then second to the kitchen, you cook, and then whatever, it doesn't matter. If we can stack 2 of them, 2 actions, then we can stack a lot more than 2 actions. So let's think this through. We want to create this as an entire action, which is going to be handling what should happen after what. Okay, so let's create that. Let's create interaction, and let's create the action stack or interaction stack. Okay, let's open that up. Namespace. This is now going to be a scriptable object. Okay, and we just need to create asset menu. Then it's going to have an action stack. Yeah, that's how we're going to do this. Let's create a new class, which we're going to be calling actions. Action logic. Let's call it action logic. Okay, and this now is going to be also a scriptable object, but it's going to be an abstract class. Okay, in the interaction stack, then we're going to have an action logic array with actions. Then we kind of need to keep track though. Yeah, okay, we'll keep it locally. So we're going to be saying public void load next action logic. Okay, and we're going to be passing the index to this. And then inside actions index, okay, and we're going to be saying if index is greater or is less than actions dot length -1, then go do actions dot load action or interaction. Okay, of course we need to be passing the grid object to this. I'm just passing u so that we can later change it to unit. Keep that in mind. Of course we need to implement this now. to generate this. Let's make this a public. Okay, and this needs to be an abstract void, of course, so we can implement it inside. So we need to have some type of well, if you want to get food to cook, you need to go and pick up, you need to open the fridge, which gives you the flag that says you have food, that then enables you to go to the kitchen and cook it. So we kind of need to check, we kind of need some form of an inventory, to say the least. Okay, so we're going to complicate things a lot right now, but I think we've got this. So we're going to create items. Let's create a new folder. Let's call that items. Okay, and then we're going to create a new script which we're going to call item. Open that up. Let's delete all of that. Then we have a namespace. Say okay, class, and it's going to be a scriptable object, and it's not exactly an item of X type. Well, yeah, it's not an item like we will do weapons or whatever. It's an item. Maybe it's better if it's called item type and we use this as an enum. So I'm going to rename this to item type and rename this as well as item type. Okay. Then in our grid object, although it will be better if we start splitting this up. So let's create another class that we're going to call unit inventory. We are going to have a reference to this though from the grid object. So let's go and add that. Although, yeah, okay, whatever. Let's do a new class, serializable, which is going to be telling us public class item container. Okay, then item container, we're going to have an item type of the item type we want to add and an amount. Okay, then in here we need the item container. Let's do this as a list. Okay, then on our grid object, grid object, okay, we need a reference now to our inventory. So public unit inventory. Unit inventory, oops. Okay, here's the thing. We're going to be requesting from the unit inventory to return us an item container of item type. Okay, and to do that, we're going to be saying get item container, or yeah, okay, let's say container of item type. Then we're going to be going through our item containers list. Okay, and then return the item containers I. Otherwise, return null, which is also something that we're going to be utilizing. Okay, then inside our action logic, we are free to go and create our actions. We do need, though, a general manager that is going to tell us that this interaction hook gives you a return of something of that type. So we need to also tag are different interaction hooks. So for example, if we tag the fridge as it gives you raw food, not cooked food, okay, then just the same way we use the connectors, we can tell it go to the fridge. Okay, from that fridge you're going to receive 1 point of raw food, so it's an item. Once you have that item, then go to the next stack of this action logic, which is go to the kitchen to cook it. Okay, so it's kind of a behavior tree, but we do not have the high. Yeah, we don't. It's kind of serialized, so it's not really a tree yet. We might use this as a tree. We'll see. But no, I think it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think there's no really real reason to do a tree because you cannot really first cook the kitchen. Yeah, you can't really cook without having the food, which means you have to go to the fridge and so on and so on. Okay, so we're on a good path. Might get a little bit confusing right now, but I assure you we got this. So for our action logic, we're going to create a new class and we're going to be saying check for item in inventory. Okay, we are thinking really high level right now. So let's do a create asset menu and we're going to implement the abstract class. We need to know the item type we have, item type, okay. Then we need to have item container. Okay, and we get that from unit inventory, get item container, item type. If item container is null or item container dot amount equals 0, what are we doing? We go and get it. Else, on this stack you are in, so on the load action, we need to know the stack. Do we need to know the stack? No, we're going to call it from the grid object. Yeah, okay. So let's open this up as well. Well, let's just create the method for this right now. And we're going to be saying public void load next action on stack. Okay, we're going to have stored the stack already, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so load next action on stack. You're going to be going here. You dot load next action on stack. In here, it's where we are going to be calling all of this. So inside our grid object again, let's go here. We're going to have, actually, no, let's do this from here. And let's say find interaction of item type of item or something. Okay, and we're going to be passing the item type. Let's generate this method. And now let's go and write it. Delete this. And just do this public void. So we now have to look through inside our level. For example, we can just take all our interaction. Okay, let's do this dirty, which means we're going to look for each collider that exists inside our level. And by dirty, I really mean dirty. Okay, so we're just going to do an overlap sphere. Transfer.position, radius of 100. So that means your entire level. layer mask, everything, doesn't matter. So like this. Then for each collider, in colliders, we're going to look for an interaction hook. Interaction hook, the class c.transform.getComponent in children. Interaction hook. Okay, if interaction hook is not null, and on that interaction hook we're going to have, well, normally one interaction hook could give you a lot more. Yeah, so from the fridge you could technically get more things than that isn't just food. Okay, so you could just have a list or an item type list, item types, and then we could just say public bool has item type, types, then for item types dot length, if, oops, this needs only one, item types I equals the type we need, then return true, otherwise return false. Okay, so from here we need to know if IH dot has item type, then you got your interaction hook. Okay, so let's rename the interaction hook to current interaction hook, and then will be the IH, and then we're breaking the for each. So we have our current interaction hook, and we're going to say if current interaction hook then it's not null, then we are loading the interaction hook. So basically exactly what we do here, which means I'm going to add this needs to be its own method now. So that will be void pathfind to interaction hook. Okay, you pathfind there, you load it, and then things snowball from that. So this doesn't need to be public anymore, we have it, and then load or pathfind, how do we write that? Pathfind to interaction hook, okay. Well, technically we could just pass the current interaction over here as well, but doesn't matter, okay. Then we have our action stack. So things that are not used anymore is the load interaction, because we don't have a queue anymore, we actually have actions. We have action stacks. Okay, and let's see, where do we have that now? We have this. Why do you get an error? Oh, because of this. And yeah, okay, ignore the rotation for now, whatever. That's the least of our worries. And let's say we have our action, interaction hook, interaction stack. Okay, here we are. So we have our interaction stack on our grid object. Then we're going to have this public, let's put it somewhere, public interaction stack, and we need the index, public integer interaction index. Then our interaction queue is no more. Well, we can have this as a list as well, but for now, whatever. Okay, so close all that. Then we're going to have a public void load interaction stack. Okay, for now it's going to be our interaction stack we have above stack, and then you're going to say current interaction stack equals stack. Let's rename this to call it current stack. Okay, and then interaction index is going to be 0. Let's rename this to be called stack index. Okay, then current stack dot load next action logic, this, and stack index is above us. One thing, load if index, yeah, okay, it loads the index, perfect. Let's rename this to load action. It's better because we're going to have all that. Okay, load interaction index. Then we have this, which says load next action on stack, which means stack index. We can do ++, then current stack load action stack index, and it will go from there. If it's lower than that, then on the else, you need a callback now on your unit that stack is complete. And okay, let's generate that. Move that here, delete this, make this public. Let's move this down. Okay, and we're just going to write debug.log stack is complete, and let's just say assign a random grid position for now as well. Okay, then technically if we do this on start, and we can do this from, let's say, load current stack interaction. I'm going to load the same one because it's not really going to, it's just going to be as a holder until you run the first load interaction stack. So it keeps doing all the stacks it needs. Okay, now back to our check for item inventory. Find interaction of item. Okay, load next action on stack. Okay, find interaction of item. You get all that. Okay, pathfind to interaction hook. You're doing the pathfind to interaction hook. Load interaction from interaction hook. Okay, it loads the interaction. Then that interaction is going to do the new wait for timer. Okay, that's okay. One thing that we should be doing though is, well, pretty much wait for timer is going to happen always. So we need to have a callback now for this. So let's see. Yeah, the callback should be over here, of course. Yeah, grid random grid position. Okay, so the callback will be you're going on the current index of your action logic. Yeah, and abstract void on action done. What's going to happen once the action is done? Grid object u. Okay, perfect. Which means we need the callback here. Grid object dot action is done. Generate this method. Let's go here. Okay, then do this as public void. So you have your action over here, cut that, and let's put it with the rest. Okay, so action is done. What that does mean is that we can go on the current stack, on the stack index we are in. No, current stack, yeah, actions, stack index, action, on action, done, past this. Okay, in the get whatever, where is it? The check for item is inventory. We now need what happens once this is done. And of course, that will be, okay, so exactly the same thing. Although now we know that there is not a case that this is going to be null. So technically we already know that you do have this in your inventory. So you could just go and load the next item on stack, but to be consistent, you're just going to add +1 to your amount and then load the next on your action stack. Okay. So let's get this show on the road and let's see how we can solve this. First of all, of course, we need to finish this and let's see. Yeah, there's no interaction anymore. Oh, there's no interaction anymore. Yeah, oops, we need to have this done, I guess. We need to generate it back again. Yeah. But we just need one interaction. And inside update, here, we just need one interaction. Then that means we need interaction, current interaction. Target interaction, and then inside the update we don't have a need for that because we could just say if current interaction is not null, then handle interaction, current interaction, and delta. Okay, then interaction queue, unfinished, current interaction, set this to null. Okay, perfect. So I think we should be good from this. Okay, so let's go and create our data folder, data. Okay, I'm going to be slightly dirty with this. We have an interaction stack which is going to be called cook. We have a check for item, check for food. Okay, then we need the item, so we need to create a new item. We need the item types over here. Create asset menu. Just that, we don't need anything else over here because we're using them as enums for the most part. Okay, then we get item type, raw food. You can name this whatever you want, it doesn't matter. I'm going to duplicate that and it's going to give us cooked food. One more thing though. In the action logic on end for check for item in inventory, we should do if item container is null, then we create it. Item container is null, new item container dot type, item type will be the type we have above, item type. Then we go and add it inside our unit inventory dot item containers dot add item container. Okay, so that we can actually add this and stack it up. Minimize that. Then we should set up our actions. Check for food. So this will be renamed to check for raw food and drag and drop that, and then check for cooked food. And then that will be given switch to cooked food. Okay, raw food, cooked food, which means on your stack, which is called cook, you'll have two actions, which one will be check for raw food and the other one will be check for cooked food. Inside our level, we have two interaction hooks. The stove can give you cooked food or something else, whatever. Right now we only need cooked food, and the fridge can give you raw food. So let's see, let's move the kitchen slightly below here just so that we see that, you know, this is working fine. And I think now all we have to do is go onto our walking, add the unit inventory, and we just need to set up an interaction stack like this. I'm actually curious to see if this is going to work, but we'll see. Let's hit play and we'll see. So what's happening? Nothing really happening. Okay, let's start debugging. Nothing is happening because on your current stack, let's see, interaction stack. So we'll just use breakpoints. I don't think there's another way we could solve this without breakpoints. We only have one unit instance, come on. Damn it. So hold on. Okay, and we're in. So let's do this. Okay, then we're going inside. We have stack index is 0, current stack is new, load action, then index is 0, which means it is of course less than the action length. Okay, step over. It's going to go inside the load action, which in this case will be check for item in inventory. So it should be here. So I'm going to click continue and it is here. And we have item container equals null, find interaction of item. Let's get inside. We search for overlap spheres. Okay, how many colliders did we find? We found like 88 colliders. Yeah, that's a lot. Let's see if we find any interaction hook. Okay, it's not. Aha. No, let's do this actually. That's the problem. Okay, so our problem is that we cannot find an object with a collider that has this. So maybe we don't, yeah, okay, we don't actually have colliders. Oops. I'm just going to add then a box collider. I don't really care for, we don't really have any interactions with the mouse, so wherever these are, they don't really matter. We're not using physics or anything like that. And yeah, let's go with the flow for this. Actually, we don't need this to have breakpoints right now. Let's see this. And true enough, it does go over here. Let's pause this for a second and notice what's going to happen here. It goes to the first slider and we have an assign random position. It throw a stack is complete, but why? Why did it do that? Okay, breakpoints. let's put on all of that here. Okay. We don't need this anymore. Continue. Continue. Okay, so after this is going to go, we're going to have to go inside our interaction hook and load direction. Let's see, current direction. Yeah, let's find the handle current direction. Let's add it in here. So the next one that should be coming over here, once he stopped and starts counting down, we should get the breakpoint there. And true enough, then is finished tick. Wait for timer to finish, that is. Action is done. I think this will be the next one in 3 seconds. Once the timer is off, it's down, and true enough. Let's get inside here and let's see what we have here. On action done, our action is of course check item for inventory on action done, so we should be done over here. Continue. Item containers null, item containers, we add this back up. Okay, load next action on stack, then stack index. Perfect. Load action. And why are you? Okay, so why do you? Oh, because we are -1. Oh, that should have been the case. Action 1. Yeah, okay. Let's do this -1. Let's remove this one. Okay. Let's remove this, the red boxes as well. I think we don't need them anymore. We can tell where this is going. And no, we do that from the grid manager, okay? Let's see, on draw gizmos, just comment this out. So for that, minimize and hit play. Okay, voila. We go from fridge to kitchen and so on and so on. Okay, only thing that it could be better, well, of course a lot of things could be better, but for the main part, only thing that could be better is our naming, to be honest, because I don't think check for item is not really true when you are doing the, for when you are cooking or whatever. And okay, let's bring back the rotation and we call it a day. To bring back the rotation though, we need to have our current interaction to be public. Or well, yeah, okay, it can be public. We don't need it in the inspector though. Okay, same with this. Okay, then inside our wait for timer to finish, just bring this up and rename this to current interaction. Oh, and yeah, we want the hook, not the interaction. Perfect. Minimize that and Yep. That is actually perfect. Okay, we have stacking logic, we have stacking behavior. Of course, I can do this however I want to, in any order I want to. You saw how easy it was. But for example, let's say you want to get sleep, okay, from bed or whatever. Let's make this 2 by 2 by 2. Let's duplicate the fridge for now. And then let's name this to bed. Delete that. Bed. Where is the bed? Bed single over here. Put this in here. 0, 0, 0. I don't know what kind of people will have a bed in his kitchen, but it doesn't have to make sense. Okay, rotate that around. Well, technically this could be placed anywhere, to be fair. 0.5 and 0.5. The interaction point then will be, it could be this point, I guess. Okay, and this will give you sleep. So sleep is an item, very valuable item sometimes. And I can just do this. Let's just say sleep, and then interaction point. Let's do this for sleep. Okay, and then we can duplicate this and let's just say sleep. Oops. Yeah, okay, sleep type, sleep item. Come on. Sleep, okay, so check for sleep. Check for sleep, then just change this to sleep item. Okay, then on your interaction point, if you have sleep item, okay, you have our sleep, then this just needs to check for sleep. Let's make this like here. Okay, perfect. So, and then I just need to change the stack. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to switch that to sleep. But we need a second slider for the second unit. And we're going to do that here. Okay, perfect. So one should go cook, the other should go sleep. And he didn't. The second one didn't do anything for a reason. Sleep. Check for sleep. Let's see, check for sleep. What does it do? What does it do? Sleep item. Okay. Bed has sleep item. Okay, then why didn't you work? Okay, let's see if you were alone, will that sleep work? Unless you weren't able to walk there. Yeah, I think that's the problem. On bed, yeah, that was the problem, damn it. Just going to move the bed. The collider, actually. Because it still needs to be a walkable node. Save that. Okay, let's click play and enjoy the fruits of our labor. Oh, damn it. The second guy still didn't work. And I don't know why. I don't think there's... Maybe we can move the interaction point a little bit. Here. Let's move the entire thing here. Yeah, it works now. Yeah, it works now. So it was still a non-walkable point. And you can see he supposedly he's sleeping. Okay, well, once this is done, of course, he's not doing anything. His tag is complete, and his tag is complete. So that's it. As you can see, we can pretty much do most of the behaviors that you needed. Like, the only thing that changes is you play a different animation, you raise a different stat. That stat could be, you know, learning a skill, or it could even be just learning, you know, just adding on a need value. But yeah, for the most part, that's the whole thing. Of course, we could have then multiple stacking logics, but yeah, we're just going to do that later. We don't have to worry about that right now. So let's call it a day. As always, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and if you like to see more stuff like this, more videos, more series, more of everything, of course, consider either support me on Patreon or keep supporting me on Patreon, considering that this is a Patreon-only series. And so that we can basically continue to keep making all of these nice things we're making. I'll see you next time.